that's a lot. From small particles to large objects far, far away in another galaxy, for example. And representations of those invisible things spans from the material things, like, for example, photo images, to conceptual things, like ideas of, for example, a black hole somewhere out there. It's nothing new with representation of things in science. The new thing is maybe that things are very, very small and can be represented. And the other thing which is important is that there's a huge new abilities to broadcast them. For example, internet and mass media and so forth. The smaller things get, the larger the machines have to be. What you see here is something that they like to make, things like that. This is some sort of presentations of a blood cell. People get fascinated until we tell them that in this blood cell you see only two things. You see the cytoskeleton and the core. 10,000 of other bits and parts in that cell it just isn't there. So what kind of representation is this actually of a blood cell? And we try to make a room for reflections upon what it means to see the invisible things that are so small or too fast to be seen by the naked eye.
This is kind of what I call hybrid form of medical atlas. Why do I call it a hybrid form? Because it mixes different kinds of techniques to present the human body. We don't have a camera or an electromagnetic microscope that can actually depict. We put, it's digitalized signals that we put in and convert pictures and then color them. I'm claiming here, and you all know it, that scientific culture and commercial culture, they share forms of representation. But we do still tend to interpret the biomedical images as naturalistic. We easily forget that the presented image is produced by a graphic designer. But when we see the representations now, then in a way they are more close to the old virtue from the 16th century, truth to nature, how this image are done.
In your case, it's digital data. There is no kind of real world that these images are supposed to represent, because we have no idea what that real world is.
When you look at this image, what you see completely depends on your kind of where you're coming from. So these kind of microbiome images have kind of just so many different registers of even kind of understanding.
The question, again, of these images as constructions, and nowhere in any exhibition is there a key to the map saying that these are constructions. So there's a certain amount of deception.
It's also scientists who don't communicate, even in scientific journals, the fact that these images are not actually images from some point of view, but they are data.
The images are always scientifically, generated to make a particular point, and they're often to make a point within to scientific colleagues, as you say, about particular data. And then they become part of the mainstream visual culture, and then we have these images up in museums, and we're assuming that people know what the hell they are, and often people have no idea. So, it's really part of the experience is to say, what is it that you're looking at, and do we really know what in the world it is that we're talking about?
Because you're used to cutting up the body, and then you're seeing it with a magnifying glass, and then you use a microscope, and you raise the magnification, and you believe that you can do that eternally until you come to the electron. But the point is, of course, there is a threshold here where it's not possible, and where the kind of scientific interpretation really comes in is no longer a prolongation of the eye.